Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ant-Man, and I'm at Wildcat Off-Road Park with my son and buddy Brian at Beta Demo Day. And I just thought I'd do a little review of the 2024 Beta Enduro models. First up, we have the 250RR. This bike had the least vibration of all the two-strokes I rode. Compared to the 300RR, the 250 felt more powerful in the top end. Suspension felt plush and softer than my KTM 300 XCW, but all in all, it felt great. Brakes were very good, and the hydraulic clutch had very easy one-finger pull. It was carbureted well and responsive. This bike had decent bottom end power. It felt snappy compared to the 300RR. If I were to pick between the two, I'd probably choose the 250 over the 300 because it had enough bottom and top end power and felt lighter than the 300 with less vibration. Up next is a 300RR. It feels similar to the 250RR, but with more bottom end power. It has more vibration when revved out than the 250, but if you ran it in the lower RPMs, there's almost no vibration. The suspension felt nice and plush, yet stable at speed. As with the 250, it was carbureted well with the same great brakes and clutch. Next is the 200RR Race Edition. Suspension felt a little stiffer as was expected with this being the Race Edition. It's hard not to compare this to my 2008 KTM 200, but the engine characteristics feel very similar. This is a very fun bike to ride, light and flickable. It feels like a 125 that has had some work done to it, although it has a lot more bottom end than a regular 125. If you miss the older KTM 200s, you'll love this bike, and it has a magic button. With a little flick of the clutch, the engine comes on the pipe, but this little engine will also lug around. It has the same light clutch pull as the 250 and 300, and the same great brakes. Next is my favorite of the two-strokes, the 300 X-Trainer. Right away I noticed the suspension was very soft compared to the other bikes. It also felt a lot smaller than the other bikes, which instills confidence in smaller riders like myself. This thing is all bottom end. It's like a diesel. You just about can't stall it out. It does have okay top end, but vibration comes with it. Like the 300 RR, if you keep it down low, there's almost no vibration. My buddy commented I was hitting every nail on the head while riding this bike, as he was behind me. The bars felt low, and the pegs in relation to the seat was a shorter distance, so it was different trying to grip the bike with your knees. It had the same great clutch feel and brakes as the other bikes. I feel like this was a great all-around bike. I think I could do a couple things to it and hit a few XC races and do decent with it, or just use it as a play and trail bike. I have to say I've always been a two-stroke fan, but I was really impressed with the four-stroke lineup. And the first one up is a 390S model, or the streetable version that comes with turn signals. I had a YZ450F that was prone to flame out, and it usually happened in the worst place you could imagine. It seems that Beta has that part figured out. Although I did stall it a couple of times, it refired with the touch of a start button. The 390 felt planted, decent suspension, same one-finger clutch, and good brakes. The engine had smooth power delivery and good stalling resistance. I'd say the 390 is one of my top picks out of the four-stroke lineup. Next, I rode the 430RR Race Edition. It felt almost the same as the 390, but with a little more power. As with all the other bikes, the race models have a little stiffer suspension, has the same great clutch and brakes as the other bikes. Almost the same power as a 450 bike, but with a lot smoother delivery and good resistance against flame out and stalling. Next is my number one for the four strokes, the 480RR. I kept track of my lap times aboard all the bikes. I was the fastest overall on the X-Trainer, but out of the four strokes, I was the fastest on the 480, despite muddy conditions. I feel like the traction control button had a lot to do with it. With it turned on, you could just point and shoot. It wouldn't do anything crazy, it just stayed on track. This bike had power everywhere. Good suspension, great brakes, one-finger clutch, good flame-out resistance, and stalling resistance. Although this may not be the best bike for my riding style, single-track, tight, technical stuff, I still like it, and if I were in the market for a 4-stroke, I'd make room for this one. I think Beta has built some great bike,